Hey guys, Leon here from Loyal TV. So the Galaxy S series is Samsung's line of flagship smartphone alongside with the Galaxy Note series, of course, showcasing the best that the company has to offer that year. And with the inception of the original Galaxy S back in 2010, the Samsung Galaxy S series is what put the South Korean company on the map. So the launch of the Galaxy S10 is soon upon us, but before that, let us take a look at the history of the Samsung Galaxy S. So it's been 9 years since the original launch of the Galaxy S, and we've definitely come a long way from this. It has a 4-inch Super AMOLED display with a resolution of 480p. So that's pretty old. It runs on a 1 GHz Cortex A8 chipset with 512 megabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of internal storage. While being the first device in its series, the Galaxy S never really turned any hits and it quickly went under the radar. Its predecessor, on the other hand, made huge waves in the mobile space. The Galaxy S2 was the device that showed other manufacturers that the company was a force to be reckoned with. It is arguably the device that put Samsung in the global spotlight and become the powerhouse manufacturers that it is today. The Galaxy S2 saw a much improved 4.3-inch Super AMOLED Plus screen, a faster dual-core 1.2 GHz CPU, 1 GB of RAM, and up to 32 GB of storage. At the time, it was praised for its light and thin design, as well as its ability to record 1080p videos. The Galaxy S2 was such a hit that it became the phone to pick up back in the day. In fact, it was also the first Android device for a lot of people. Following the success of the Galaxy S2, the S3 saw significant changes in both design and hardware. It has a 4.8-inch 720p Super AMOLED display, a Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 processor, up to 2 GB of RAM and 32 GB of storage. Samsung also introduced an overhaul to their Android skin called TouchWiz. So TouchWiz Nature UX is a user experience that Samsung says was inspired by nature and that has carried forward to the design of the phone as it resembles a pebble. The Galaxy S4 was a turning point for Samsung in terms of design. The device featured a larger screen as well as a more premium build. Specs included a 5-inch Super AMOLED 1080p display, a Snapdragon 600 processor, 2 GB of RAM, up to 64 GB of internal storage, and a 2600 mAh battery. Samsung also experimented on its software here, introducing eye tracking functionality as well as the ability to detect a finger while hovering over the screen and more. There was also an inclusion of Samsung apps like S Health and S Voice that weren't too well received and was quickly labeled as bloatware. The next in the series is the Galaxy S5, which is arguably the least popular one. This is probably because it was an incremental upgrade from the S4. The only notable difference was an upgrade in processor, which it had the Snapdragon 801 processor at the time. The Galaxy S5 was also the first Galaxy phone to receive an IP rating of 67. That means it is water and dust resistant. It also has a fingerprint scanner right in the button here. The back of the S5 features a removable plastic backplate that bears an uncanny resemblance to a plaster. While it probably wasn't the most popular Galaxy device, it was still highly regarded at the time, especially amongst fans of the series. Moving on to the S6, Samsung has moved into an era of modernization in terms of design, with the new 5.1-inch 2560 by 1440 Super AMOLED display and the new Edge display as well. It also had 3 models, namely the regular S6, which doesn't have the Edge, the S6 Edge and Edge Plus, which had the bigger 5.7-inch screen, which was pretty big at the time. In terms of innovation, the Galaxy S6 remains to be one of the best Galaxy phones ever made. Now the Galaxy S7 followed suit with a 5.1-inch regular model and a 5.5-inch Edge model. The only difference is that while the S6 dropped features like expandable storage and water and dust proofing, the S7 series brought it back. The standout feature of the phone was the 12-megapixel camera that had excellent low-light performance. It was also the first Galaxy device to have dual-pixel autofocus. Now, it wasn't that long ago, so you guys could probably still remember what this phone can do. Now, with the Galaxy S8, they took the Edge display and refined it into the Infinity display. This was when the race for the bezel-less display began. They even moved the fingerprint sensor to the back of the phone, albeit in a rather awkward position, but they quickly addressed that in the next iteration. Spoilers alert. The new Infinity display also introduces the new 18:9 aspect ratio. This provides a more immersive viewing experience. And the most recent iteration is the S9 series with a 5.8-inch display for the base model and a larger 6.2-inch display for the S9 Plus. Physically, not much has changed from the S8. It still has the Infinity display design, except for the aforementioned fingerprint scanner that has been moved to the bottom for easier access, as well as having dual camera arrays for the Plus model. And what's new with the camera is that it now has a mechanical aperture, giving you even better low light performance. Now there you have it, the history of the Galaxy S series. The S10 will be coming up and we'll definitely be doing a video on it, so stay tuned for that. Let us know down in the comments section below which Galaxy S device you've previously owned and used. And as always, like this video if you like it, subscribe to us if you haven't already, hit the bell to get notified of our future videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!